Hello guys, this is Kamuti Given from Kamuti Academy. In today's lesson, we're going to look at chemistry and the topic called matter, subtopic changes of states of matter. Now, before we look at the changes of states of matter, for some of you, the word matter might be a topic, a subject that is unfamiliar. So if I might explain or define what matter is before we can dive into the changes of states of matter. Matter, in simple terms, matter is defined as any substance that can take up space and has weight. This is a simple definition of matter. The chalk that you see here, which I'm holding, is one example of matter because it can fill up space and it has got weight. That's a good example of matter. Now, matter can actually exist in what we call three states. So matter can exist as a solid, it can exist as a liquid, it can also exist as a gas. Hence, the changes of state of matter. Now, these are states in which matter can exist after it has either gained or lost heat energy. Now, we said it can either exist as a solid, a liquid, or a gas when it has gained or lost heat energy. Now, let's follow me. Follow me on the changes of state. Now, matter, we have what we call a solid. So we'll start with a solid. We have what we call a solid here. Then we also have a liquid there. So let me put a liquid, solid liquid. Then we have a gas there. All right. Then we have a gas there. So now, what we're going to do here is that we want to find out what happens or what the states are called, what reactions occur when a solid has changed into a liquid or when a liquid has changed into a gas or vice versa. So those are the transitions we're going to look at. All right, follow me. So now, what happens when a solid has turned to be a liquid? What happens when a solid has turned to be a liquid? We want to find out what happens. All right, so I'm going to do this. Suppose I say, so I'm going to write here, I'll do this. So by show of arrows, so this arrow is actually coming from solid going to liquid. So we're simply saying when a solid has become a liquid, what has happened? So when a solid becomes a liquid, that process is actually called melting. So the process is called melting. So melting is the change of state in which a solid becomes a liquid. Now, here is an exercise that you'll be doing as we are going to understand this. Now, there are two types of reactions that I want you to understand every time we're looking at matter. There is what we call an endothermic reaction and an exothermic reaction. Now, an endothermic reaction is a type of reaction where heat is absorbed inside. So that is endothermic. Endo means inside. Then an exothermic reaction is a type of reaction where heat is released. Now, therefore, we also want to find out when a solid has turned into a liquid, is it an endothermic reaction or an exothermic reaction? So those are the answers I want you to be putting in the comment section. All right. Now, what if the opposite happens? A liquid tends to become a solid. So if the opposite happens, what do we call it? What do we call it? When a liquid, for instance, when water becomes ice, what happens? So that is actually, yes, you're right. That is called freezing. So that is called freezing, right? Of course, there are other names we can use here. In place of melting, in place of freezing, those are the answers I want you to be dropping in the comment sections. All right. So we go to the other side. What happens when a liquid becomes a gas? So when a liquid becomes a gas, what happens? So show of arrows. For instance, water becomes water vapor. So that process is actually called what? evaporation. All right, so the process is called evaporation. Don't forget, is evaporation an endothermic reaction or exothermic reaction? Those are the questions that I want you to answer right in the comment section. All right, so what happens here now when the opposite has happened? When a gas changes to become a liquid, if the opposite has happened, vapor has become a liquid. So you're right, that is condensation. So condensation. So that is condensation. All right. Then we've got two more interesting phase changes. Now we know most of the times that when ice has melted, it becomes a liquid. So now I want you to understand. What happens when a liquid has actually changed, or when a solid has changed directly from a solid to a gas. What happens? Or when a gas has actually changed from a gas to a solid without passing through the intermediate liquid phase. So that is what I want us to look at. So when a solid has actually changed and has become a gas, and when a gas has changed to become a solid. So what we call these direct phase transitions, all right? So the first one, when a solid becomes a gas, that is called sublimation. So that is called sublimation. All right, that is sublimation. What of the opposite? When a gas tends to become a solid without passing through the intermediate liquid phase, all right? Yes, it can be called deposition. So that is actually called deposition. That is called deposition. Now, for those that are saying desublimation, that is also correct. So deposition can also be called desublimation. All right, so these are the phase transitions. So I want you to look at the types of reactions. Is it endothermic or exothermic? See you in the next lesson.